Great. Thank you. We're live. Okay, thank you. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I guess you hear the idle chit chat from the Rad Man and J-GILLZ, as we didn't realize we didn't get our cue this morning. Hey, every week is a different week, and we try to make it happen to you. Coming live from Rock Palm Broker Studio, live in Rochester, New York, from the Rock Palm Broker Studios. Here we are, Real Deal Sports Show, and we coming to you live every week from 8 to 9 a.m. on WLGZ HD2, The Beat 105.5, our radio station. We're ready to get the show rolling. We have J-GILLZ with me this morning, my trusty sidekick, J-GILLZ. We're going to talk a lot of sports of all sorts. There's a lot of things happening in the world of sports. We're going to delve into all of that during this next hour time period. So, J-GILLZ, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. What's your take on the Bills Broncos? You were there Monday night. Hey, if you're watching the podcast, you see it says committed LSU. The Rad Man committed himself to LSU last weekend. Hell of a football game. The truth, man, really, yeah. I wanted to go see some offense last week. And offense, I saw LSU put up 52 points. The University of Florida Gators put up 35. Jaden Daniels, unbelievable, historic performance. Over 350 yards passing and over 200 yards rushing. He built like Tyrod Taylor. Where's that number 5? The same number. He reminds me of Tyrod Taylor, just a younger version of him with a strong arm and quick. The young man is quick, man. I can't wait to see him on Sundays coming up. Thank you, Jaden Daniels, for making my weekend even more memorable by having a historic, first player ever in the history of the FBS football conference to pass for over 350 yards and run for over 200 yards. Jaden Daniels, my hat's off to you. You're the legend of the show this week, J-GILLZ. You there?
Oh man, absolutely, Rad Man. And we gotta give the credit where the credit is due with that LSU game. Absolutely great. But let's go into Monday Night Football, man. Rad Man, when I tell you, what a disappointing loss from the Buffalo Bills. My take on this is this. It's simple. The age-old question that I've been getting from Bills Mafia in this amongst this 2-game skid, this 2-game losing streak, this 5-5 team in the NFL. Oh, it's the coaching. Oh, this offense is just no good. When it comes to the scheme, Ken Dorsey just can't get anything done. Wake up, Bills fans, and open your eyes. Your offense is terrible because y'all don't have anybody to run it outside of Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid. Your skills positions, they're playing terrible. If you're relying on a Gabe Davis, a Trent Sheffield, it's not going to be enough in this modern NFL. It's not going to be enough when you've got teams like a Cincinnati who are having their own trouble. But when Joe Burrow's healthy, he's slinging that football to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. When Tua Tagovailoa is rolling, he's got a Jalen Waddle and a Tyreek Hill. Well, I'm just saying, when it comes to the Buffalo Bills offense, and I understand Ken Dorsey got fired. Ken Dorsey did get fired, and to me, that's a scapegoat because if the Bills win that game, which they should have won that game, Ken Dorsey's still sitting there calling plays from the booth. When I look at this Bills offense this year, as Bills fans, get this. Josh Allen is leading the league in total touchdowns. 19. He's leading the league in total touchdowns. He's tied in passing touchdowns with Tua Tagovailoa. He's tied in rushing touchdowns, first in the NFL, 7 with Jalen Hurts. The Buffalo Bills, they're 4th in the NFL in passing yards, 4th in the NFL. Josh Allen is 4th in the NFL in passing yards. He's 4th in the NFL in QBR. He's 2nd in the NFL in completion. You talk about his season, this is the most efficient Josh Allen has been in a season. He's turned the ball over, but he's been doing that every single year. He leads the league in turnovers, fumbles, and interceptions. When you talk about the Bills right now, they're 7th in total offense, 370 yards per game.
Wow.
They're 7th in passing. They have a top 10 offense in the NFL, but yet the scheme is just so terrible. No, how about this? How about Gabe Davis and Trent Sheffield and Deontay Hardy? Deontay Hardy's getting paid $2 million a year. You expecting a 1,000-yard season. Ain't no scheme going to get that for him. The Buffalo Bills skills position sucks, and that's really what it comes down to.
Well, hold on. I beg to differ with you slightly on that, J-GILLZ. After all those numbers you gave me, you just gave the opposite. I think with those numbers, it's like, wow, Bills, his QBR, everything is looking good. the big difference is their offense is moving the ball. The problem is your deep in the past years. Remember last year the Bills were 13-3. 13-3 last season because they didn't play the Cincinnati game last year. That game didn't get played, so they played 16 games last regular season. The Bills finished the season 13 wins and 3 losses. But Josh Allen led the league in turnovers last season. He had the most turnovers of any quarterback last season. The year before as well. Even back to his college days at Wyoming, he had big turnovers. He had a lot of touchdowns, but he had a lot of turnovers as well. The only difference between the 13-3 season last year and this year is one. Leslie Frazier is not coaching the defense, number one. Number two, you have Matt Milano out for the year. You have Daquan Jones, the run stuffer, out for the year. You have all of a sudden Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer has gotten old. Their guys are old and broke up in the secondary. They can't stay on the field. Micah Hyde, he has a beautiful family, lovely, pretty wife, beautiful young girls that we see at training camp during the training camp at St. John Fisher College. Man, come on, man. Retire, man, and go home to your family, man. You done made enough money. You done played over 10 years in the National Football League. You should have enough money saved to go on. And even you could become a coach or something, a college coach, high school coach. You know the game very well. Micah Hyde, he got a neck. They're calling it a stinger, but he lost feeling in his hand again, in his fingers. He couldn't feel his fingers and stuff. And he done had 2 neck surgeries as well. I'm talking about you as a human being, Micah Hyde. We love you, man. Just retire, man, because you don't need to be out there taking this type of abuse. And then Tre'Davious White, we lost Tre'Davious White again. We didn't have Tre'Davious White last year either. But the difference is the defense is not standing up to its job and able to keep the Bills in the game. Those turnovers are becoming very important because the defense is not as strong and not as sturdy as it has been the past 3 to 4 years. And that's not only because of injury. You got situational football out there with your head coach making bonehead decisions. Why would you rush at the end of the game? You rushed Russell Wilson twice. You ran the same defensive blitz. You blitz happy. One thing about Leslie Frazier, he was conservative. You said he was too conservative. People said, why is he leaning back? Now, this guy is just the opposite. He's total blitz happy. He blitzed one play. You sacked him for like a 10-yard loss. Beautiful. But why wouldn't you just say, and we're listening to the Peyton Manning broadcast too, which is very interesting. I had never listened to his broadcast until I was in Cincinnati, and I didn't have the regular ESPN channel. All they had was ESPN2 in my hotel out there in Kentucky before the Cincinnati game. And I caught the Peyton Manning show, and we caught it again this past Sunday. A group of us listen watching the game Monday night down there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we're like, why would you blitz them 2 plays in a row? Why wouldn't you just do the same format, the same scheme, show them the same scheme, but then drop your guys back in the coverage and rush with your 4 guys instead of going with an all-out blitz where all he did was throw the ball up in the air way short. The ball was catchable, and our defender, Teron Johnson, ran into the wide receiver, and a flag goes up for pass interference. I mean, why would you allow that? Why would you allow a no-coverage blitz where you don't have nobody covering the receiver? If he's able to get the ball off, hey, chances are it's going to be caught. Or in this case, he threw it so short it was incatchable. The guy gets a pass interference. That it just doesn't make sense on the defensive side to allow your defense to make one great play, and then you turn around and try to do the same defense 2 plays in a row. To me, McDermott has just lost it. He's not a head coach. He's trying to do defense. He's trying to do, and then on the offensive side, let's go over to the flip side. With my Ray Fontenette, he's been to Rochester's brother George Fontenette, and his nephew Andre is going to be on the show shortly coming up. But Ray Fontenette said something during the game. He said, George, your quarterback looks real uncomfortable, man. Why is he looking so uncomfortable out there? Is there something wrong with him? Is he injured or something? And I said, you know what? That is the perfect term. Josh Allen looks uncomfortable out on the football field the last 5 to 6 weeks. He looks very uncomfortable. He looks jittery. I mean, Raymond Fontenette hadn't even seen the Bills in a while, but the first thing he noticed about him, even this early in the first series of the game, he said, wow, this guy looks uncomfortable, man. He looks like he's not comfortable with with what they're coaching and what he's not being coached up properly. And then on the fumble, when he tried to hand the ball off from the shotgun position, he handed the ball off all up into the man's chest, and he let go of the ball. He didn't even put it in the belly. He put it on the man's shoulder pad, James Cook. And James Cook kicked the ball down the field. It was a fumble. That's Josh Allen. Josh Allen, you got to get under center. Peyton Manning made a key point when that happened. He said most quarterbacks, you got to be under center because when you hike the ball underneath the center, you turn and you already at a lower level where it's much easier to put the football into the belly of the running back. You can put the belly into, he said here from the shotgun, he said that's a terrible way to hand the ball off. So why wouldn't the Bills coaching staff, you see that Josh Allen is not the brightest bulb in there. He has a low football IQ. He can't understand the nuances of the game. And he said in practice, you got to practice that over and over and over and over and over again, how to get under center, take the snap, hand the ball to the running back in his belly, and make sure that you jam that ball into the running back's belly so that he can take the ball into the hole. He said, you're hurting the quarterback. He said most of these quarterbacks cannot play the game, cannot hand the ball off properly from a shotgun position. So that's, to me, that's coaching. And there's a lot of coaching. The Buffalo Bills has failed Josh Allen as with his coaching ability ever since Brian Daboll has left. They need to coach this young man up so that he can get his confidence. You can see his confidence seems to be shot because, as Ray Fontenot said, he looks uncomfortable out on the football field, J-GILLZ.
Right, man, I have to disagree. I had to disagree because when it comes to Ken Dorsey and the firing of Ken Dorsey, nobody was more upset than that of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was pissed that his guy was fired, that his guy, his mentor, his person who's been his quarterback's coach since 2019. He's been coaching him up in that room since 2019, since 2020 against the duel against Mahomes, 2021, 2022. So the level of security, the level of faith that Josh Allen had in Ken Dorsey was abundant. It was abundant. Josh Allen is used to getting calls from this guy. I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with that. I don't think that he was uncomfortable with the play calling and the play style. I think Ken Dorsey made Josh Allen very comfortable, very comfortable. If we look, Josh Allen is a turnover machine. If we look at the stats, this is his most efficient season. He's completing the most passes. Granted, the play calling definitely is a matter of that, you know what I mean? But his QBR is up the highest that we've ever seen. You know what I mean? I think that, like I said, I think when it comes down to it, I think it's the players on the field. But I just want to go to that point real quick about the Coach McDermott move in his own defense. But on offense, too, I do want to make note of this. To me, it was a very, very poor decision to bench James Cook for the first half of the game.
Yeah.
To me, I did not agree with that at all. Running out the gate, it was a fumble. And then you don't put him in for the whole first half of the game. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? And then when I talked to James Cook in the locker rooms after the game, he was almost brought to tears at how upset he was at himself. But to me, if you're a head coach and that's one of your key players on offense, mind you ain't got many. Right. On that poorest offense, thanks to Brandon Beane, you ain't got many. James Cook is one of those guys, and you see he went off in that second half. Over 15 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown. He snapped. He should have been playing that whole game. But how, as a head coach, do you not have faith in your running back? To me, it shows how bad of a coach's job that he did. And I'm a guy who was always vouched for Sean McDermott, but that move right there, I didn't get it at all, and I didn't agree with it.
And you mentioned that 109, the man ran for over 109 yards. He averaged 9.1 yards per carry. Latavius Murray, 6 carries, 68 yards, 7.9 yards per carry. You check my article out in this week's Challenger Community newspaper. It's on the newsstands now at most businesses in the community here in Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, of all of Western New York. Check out my article. I state in the article, if your two running backs are 9.1 yards and 7.9 yards per carry, that's what they're averaging every time they touch the ball. McDermott, why wouldn't you tell your coordinator to run the football? Just run the football. Make it easy for Josh Allen. Put Josh Allen under center and keep handing the football off. Why are you going back to – and then every once in a while, play action. If the Bills ran that ball 30 times with Cook running maybe 25 times or 20, 25 to 20, and the other guy running it, and Latavius Murray running at least 15, that's 30, that's 25 and 10, 35, that's 15 and 10, 25, or even 20. You had to get in the 30s with running the football. Denver was not stopping the Buffalo. I mean, that was the best game I've seen Deion Dawkins play all year, the whole entire offensive line. But Deion, they ran a trap play on one of them where Deion came out of his position, came around the guard in the center, and came to the guard's hole on the other side of the line and just pancaked. He pancaked the linebacker, and man, and Cook ran right behind him for like 10, 15 yards on the play. It was a beautiful. That was one of the best blocks I've seen Deion Dawkins do as a Buffalo Bill, and especially I think that was one of his best games and one of the best games your offensive line was of. I've been saying all along, the Bills' offensive line is a better run blocking offensive line than they are a pass blocking offensive line. But let these guys run. They ran. That's inexcusable. That's on the head coach. You should have told Dorsey, hey, continue. Hey, we running the ball. These guys averaging 7 or 9 yards a carry. Man, give it to Cook, give it to Murray. Keep running that football. If you ran the football, that ran the clock down. You running the ball. You pushing Denver off of the ball. You putting your will on the Denver Broncos. When you tied it up at 15 all, from 8 down to 15 all, you should have kept running the football. There was no reason for Josh Allen to go back and pass. And then that way, that builds his confidence back up as you're passing the ball. And then he could go to play. You could do a play action pass and pass the ball down the field every now and then. Or the short passing game, because on his first interception, James Cook was wide open in the flat. You should go back to taking what the defense gives you, hit the guys in the flat, and go from there. And we're going to come up next, sponsored by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. You check out Miriam Rivera for some insurance. She'll make sure everything is great for your auto, home, health, and life insurance. Make sure you check out Miriam Rivera for that insurance. Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, auto, home, health, life insurance. 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, area code 585-360-0094. If she saved me and my family a hell of a lot of money, I guarantee you, give Miriam a shot. She'll save you and your family a hell of a lot of money as well with auto, home, health, and life insurance. Let's go to the Deion Dawkins interview. I think it's coming up. Backsman, the Deion Dawkins interview. We having a little technical, can't hear it. Oh, we can't hear it. Okay, I think we can't hear it. I think it's playing. We just can't hear it right now. But we have a little technical difficulty. Yeah, it's playing. But we just can't. We just can't hear. Let's see. Mute. Yeah, we just can't hear the. Let me see. I'm making sure I don't have backspin muted, and I'm checking with it. It looks like we don't seem to have it. So it looks like it's not. Well, we have a little technical difference. J-GILLZ, what did Deion Dawkins have to say to you after the game?
Well, I mean, I think that the audience, they was able to hear it. We couldn't hear it on our end, but if they heard it on their end, I think they were able to hear it on their end. I'm not sure if it's still running or not, but basically he just summed it up as this. They're just taking it a play at a time. He still got 7 teams back at the end of the day, and they have faith that they're going to get out of this situation. But what else are you going to say? But when I was walking through that locker room and seeing just everybody just so downtrodden, you know what I mean? Nobody wanting to speak. The offense staying over on their side, the defense on their side, nobody mingling in between. Totally different from what I saw over in the Denver Broncos locker room after a huge win. Everybody talking, everybody having everybody's back. They was big up in Russell Wilson and everything. So when it came down to it, I just think that the Bills, they have a gauntlet of a schedule left. But Radman, I just want to let you know this last thing when it comes to the offense. Gabe Davis, in the 4 years that he's been with the Buffalo Bills, has never had 1,000-yard season. Never. Yes.
Yeah, that's so unbelievable.
I'm just letting Bills fans know, you're talking about a guy like Gabe Davis as being enough. This guy's not enough, man. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. Khalil Shakir, love him. He's just a guy.
But he hasn't had enough passes.
Journeyman.
Sheffield journeyman, but Shakir, they really haven't used him a lot to get the ball to him. And Gabe Davis, in defense of Gabe Davis on that drop pass that turned into an interception, man, that ball was thrown hard, man. You got to put a little touch. You got to put a little touch on the ball to get so that the receiver can hold on. You can't just fire. He's firing that ball like a sidearm pitcher in baseball, and it's cold and that ball a little slippery, man, that's hard to hold. And you running full speed too across the middle, and he puts his hands up and that ball is coming in like a fastball. Man, that's hard. That's only defense I have for him in that, because the ball was on his hands. It should have been caught. But because of the ball was coming in so hard and the veracity that it was coming in on, that's like a baseball catcher trying to catch a fastball. But the catcher is usually in a squatting position. They're not moving like this guy was moving at full speed. Man, Josh Allen's shoulder, too, is banged up, and he's throwing that ball really hard. He's never really had a touch. And really, they need to work with him on throwing 2-yard pass. If he would throw a 1-yard pass to James Cook early in the game, that would, instead of throwing the interception down the field, Cook would have. They give him every team is seeing the Bills on film. They're the same Buffalo Bills. Dump it to the running backs. Let them pick. They're giving you the yards, but he won't take what the defense is giving him. He just stopped doing that this season. He was doing it last season, but he refuses to take what the defense gives him, and he's trying to put it down the field. And what they're doing, they're making it look like it's single coverage, but they really in a zone defense. They really in zone. He thinking they man-to-man, but they really, when they hike the ball, they drop into a zone defense, and the guy came off his man and intercepted the pass. And we've seen the same interception 3 or 4 weeks in a row. It's like, Josh, don't you get it, man? I mean, that's what I mean. His football IQ is just so low that coming from Wyoming, his football, he just doesn't have the mental capabilities to be a thinking quarterback that can think on the field, that can make the change. Like, he changed into a play where the defense, he had the right defense, a right play called, but when he looked at their defense, he changed the play at the line of scrimmage a week ago against Cincinnati and threw right into the coverage and that interception on the sideline. I mean, it's just that he just doesn't have the football IQ upstairs. You got to keep coaching him up, stay on him about dropping the ball, getting the ball to the short guys, to the guys in the backfield, and making those plays in the backfield. You got to dump the ball in the flat, then work your way down the field. Then when they finally come up to play those guys in the flat, then you can go deeper with Dalton Kincaid. I mean, very few targets for they taken Diggs out of the game. Diggs very few targets last week and even the week before in Cincinnati. Very few targets on both. It's just bad luck on that situation there. And we're gonna go over to the Denver Broncos locker room. I know you were over in the locker room, and we had a Canisius College, a former basketball player that's actually been to my house here in Rochester, Chris Manhurst, very nice young man, played on the Canisius College basketball team. And then he started playing pro football, trying out with the Bills, the Carolina Panthers. He's been around to a few teams. He latched on with a couple of teams, and now he's with the Denver Broncos, and he had a pretty good game against the Buffalo Bills Monday night. So, Baxman, let's go to that, and just let us know when that interview concludes, just in case if we're not able to hear it over here on the on this side as well. So let's go to that interview with Chris Manhurst.
Absolutely. That was a good interview, Rad Man. And as you said, the young man, friends to the Ratney family, former basketball player over at Canisius College.
Exactly. This is a very good athlete and a very nice young man. Very nice young man, and he's really he really can play the position. And he's a person that's grown into a tight end. Is he a top tight end in the league? No, but he's a blocking tight end, and he can make some catches too. When you need him to come out on some pass plays, he can. Chris Manhurst can make some plays for you on the tight end side, and he's playing under a head coach now that's offensive minded, and I'm sure he'll probably get him in on some plays, on some passing plays as well. But he's an excellent blocker, and he's been in the league almost 6-7 years now. So our hats off to Canisius College alum Chris Manhurst. You're making us all proud in the National Football League with your playing ability. And also that leads me to Buffalo. Quentin Morris, he's a good tight end as well. He can block, and he also can make some. I'm just surprised they haven't used Quentin Morris a little more either on passing plays, because he's an excellent blocker. He helps us good on pass protection. Run plays. What do you think, J-GILLZ? Quentin Morris can make some plays as well.
No, absolutely, especially in the absence of Dawson Knox. I think that's a huge piece for them. I haven't seen him on the injury report, but I know the last time we did see him catching that touchdown, he twisted his ankle pretty good. So I'm not sure how healthy he is, although he hasn't shown up on the injury report. So, you just don't know. You just don't know. Speaking of the injury report, like you said, it's going to be a tough one this coming Sunday. Christian Benford, Micah Hyde, Cam Lewis, Jordan Phillips, Trent Sherford, and Dorian Williams all having problems. We'll see how they fare on Sunday.
Yeah, that a lot of the injuries are coming. You have a lot of guys that are out there that are injured, and you really the Buffalo. It just shows you get. And one injury that really is Von Miller. Von Miller is playing injured. Just make him inactive, and let Russo and AJ Espinoza, Shaq Lawson. You got Kingsley Jonathan. Why not you let the young boys play? Most teams let these young boys play. I mean, you got a 34-year-old guy that's coming off of his second major knee surgery. It looked like he's out there walking. It really does. It looked like he's dancing with the guy and doing a dancing with the stars type move out there, because he can't beat anybody because his legs just can't. His legs just can't. He's not ready to play. And who gave the okay for him to play? Why would Sean McDermott put a guy in the game on one leg? The same way he did Dawson Knox. Why would you send Dawson Knox out there with a broken wrist when the man got trouble catching with two hands, and you sending him out there with one hand? It just amazes me. What is up with Sean McDermott, man? Why you put guys that you give them the eyeball test? You see them every day. You mean you couldn't tell that Von Miller wasn't ready to play? Why wouldn't you just have Von Miller as a coach coaching the other guys up from the sideline? And then he, after the Tampa Bay game, then put him in the 21-day window if you want, and then let him practice and work his way back to getting him on the field. But why would you put him on the field when he can't? He's a shadow of himself, and it's an embarrassment to see a Hall of Famer out there on the field looking the way he's looking. You've done a disservice not only to your team, but also to that man. That's a Hall of Famer, and you got him looking out there like a XFL or a USFL player.
And Radman, I had a chance to talk to Von Miller last week in Cincinnati, and he was saying the same thing in the sense of, he's not putting it on the coaching staff, but he doesn't feel all the way himself, and he's out there doing his thing, but he definitely should have kept more time off.
Exactly. He should have kept more time off, and I know he wants to play, but come on, man. He should know deep down inside that he shouldn't have been out there. I don't know why he was so eager to let the people know, oh, man, I got to play. I'm ready, man. And every press conference, he's talking this and that. But once again, that comes down to coaching. It's like what Sean McDermott is showing everybody this season. He's not a National Football League head coach. Remember what I told you last year when back in February? It wasn't even last year. It was when we came back from the Super Bowl week in Phoenix, Arizona. We went to this event. The Fritz Pollard Alliance, the Jan Cochran Salute to Excellence Awards, And one of the awardees was Leslie Frazier, received an award at the event. And I was talking to some of the other coaches, NFL coaches, and people that's in the know, and they said, you wouldn't believe what that man's been doing up there in Buffalo. I said, oh yeah. He said, what the duties that Leslie Frazier is doing for the Buffalo Bills is the duties equivalent to being a head coach in the National Football League. I said, really? He said, yeah, man. He's doing the job that a head coach should be doing. So what that tell you? If this guy's in the know-how, that this guy, this source told me, hey, he knows what's going on. So this is an NFL person. So you did for him to say Leslie Frazier was doing the job that an NFL head coach should be doing, lets you know that Sean McDermott was not acting as the head coach. He was acting as the overall guy and letting Leslie Frazier. And also think about it. When DeMar Hamlin had that incident in Cincinnati, who took the team back to Buffalo? It was Leslie Frazier. And when we saw him in the hallway, Leslie Frazier was in there talking to the team, and McDermott was heading to the hospital to go see about DeMar Hamlin. He left the team, and it was Leslie Frazier who talked to the team. Everybody got their stuff, and they walked out of I never forget how they walked back over to their buses and got on the buses, and they took them, and the police escort took them out to the Cincinnati airport, flying back to Buffalo. It was Leslie Frazier taking the team back to Buffalo. So he was acting. I saw that with my own two eyes. I mean, hey, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Right. Leslie Frazier took that team back to Buffalo, and Leslie Frazier was talking that team up. And then I hear this in Phoenix that the guy said the duties that Leslie Frazier was doing with the Buffalo Bills was the duties of a head coach. So maybe that's why you see the dysfunction this year, because the Bills don't have their real head coach helping out this season. You had the nerve to push them out because you want to call the defense. You go back to 13 seconds. You took over the defensive call. You, Sean McDermott, took the defensive calls from Leslie Frazier and said you want to call it, and you screwed everything up and cost your team the victory. Everybody was healthy then. All you had to do was survive 13 seconds. You couldn't survive 13 seconds. And then what did we have Monday night? He couldn't survive 12 men on the field. So now he's gone from 13 to 12. Man, come on.
Wow. Oh, man.
How in the hell you got 12 men on the field, man? Man, it's that he's not a head coach. That he just proved himself. He showed everybody, and it was on. And as my son, as the fanatic was saying, when you watch those standalone games, man, and you don't do well on standalone games, everybody sees that, hey, man, something wrong up there in Buffalo, man. This head coach, he got all that talent, and he's still not winning. You gonna go from 13 seconds to 12. So what's it gonna be next time? 11? We're gonna do something. We're gonna involve the number 11 next time. How you
the 11 that's out there ain't good enough. No, let me stop.
But how you gonna lose? How you gonna lose games in that fashion? 13 seconds, 12 men on the field. The man missed the field goal. Everybody thinking everybody ready to go home. Buffalo happy they won. Hey, wait a minute. The guy dropped the flag in the end zone. You got 12 men. What was Terrell Bernard doing? He was the last guy back, number 43.
What they're saying, Ratman, this one nobody want to blame him, but they're saying that Cam Lewis, when he got hurt at the end of that game, and DeMar Hamlin went in for Cam Lewis, that DeMar Hamlin was the one who was supposed to get off the field. They said DeMar Hamlin wasn't in the know. That's what I'm hearing, and this is only the second game of the season, so that's what they're saying. Once because Cam Lewis is normally in that spot when for the special team spot, and he normally gets off the field. But DeMar Hamlin was taking over for Cam, and nobody wanted this. They didn't want to say who it was on, but hearing that it was on DeMar.
Really? I see. I did. Thank you for that inside information. Right. I'm telling you, this is right here, Real Deal Sports Show. We don't tell you what we heard. We tell you what we know. We get inside information of what's happened. Oh, so Cam Lewis was injured late in that game.
Cam Lewis got hurt. DeMar was in about the fourth quarter-ish. And that's when all heck broke loose.
Oh, and he didn't know. And Cam Lewis, if he was playing, he knows to come off the field. He comes off.
He would have known to get off the field.
And it was a fire drill too. It was a fire drill play too. It wasn't a regular snap where Denver ran the play, kneeled the ball, and ran their offense off and ran their field goal unit on. And the Bills ran their team off the field, ran their special team guys on. So it was like a fire drill. both teams ran their special teams unit, and you didn't have time to think, and Hamlin didn't realize that guy's not part of the Cam Lewis, who he was replacing, wasn't part of the special team.
Because that makes McDermott ain't that dumb. You know, when it comes to everybody knew what Sean Payton was doing. We was running the clock out. You know, Russ was snapping the ball, dropping it. He had 3 chances to get his personnel out there. You know, his personnel was out there. It's just some of the one player just didn't run it right. That's just due to a lack of being in-game experience. You know, he's been a football player, obviously, but it's only second game of the season, high pressure situation. I could see how he could mess that one up.
So and look what happened. Everything fell in the right fashion. They ran a fire drill, and you got a player playing that hasn't played, that's been inactive for most of the season, and didn't realize that his man is not out there on. But the thing that got me was when I saw the replay. Even when they showed the replay, all I saw was number 43, Terrell Bernard, behind the line of scrimmage, behind the defense. Right. He's supposed to be the one counting. If he counted 12 people and said, "Oh shoot, we got 12," he should have ran his. I thought he should have ran off the field or attempted.
That's a great point. That's a great point. But I think at that time it was about 5-6 seconds left.
Yeah,
like you said, you know, so he could have ran off, but they still would have got him, in my opinion.
And the way he looked, it looked like because he ran out there, to tell the truth, to watch it, it looked like he didn't attempt to count Terrell Bernard. He didn't attempt to count them. He just ran out there. Woo! We made it out here. Woo! All right, let's get the. Oh man, he hiked the ball. You know, I don't think he counted at all. Wow. They ran out there. I don't think he even had time to count. They were just rushing to get out there and glad to make it out there in time for the play to take place. And he didn't even count the time to say, hey, this is what we have left. Hey guys, at least he could have ran and made an attempt to get off the field and look, but nobody attempted to get off the field. And thank you for that inside information from that game, because you were there covering that contest live, and we'll be there tomorrow, the Bills versus Jets. We're gonna get to our football picks in a couple of minutes. We're gonna get to that and get to you and let everybody know if you want to make some money. I hope you were with us last week, J-GILLZ. I hope they were listening, because I had Washington with the 6 points. Washington lost the game to Seattle, but they covered. They covered that game. I had Detroit -2. I told you take the Lions. The Lions covered the spread easily. The Fanatic had the Raiders and Jets being an underscore, and man, that was almost embarrassing to watch. We were at the casino Monday night. Man, that was embarrassing. We were trying to watch. I went back to the blackjack table, man, to tell you the truth, man. After halftime, I was on that blackjack table, man. I was like, man, come on. This is, woo, man, they had comfortable seats out there in the whole 9 yards at that casino there in Baton Rouge. But, hey, I told you the picks last week. Those are 3 winners. I hope you listened to us last week, especially with that Washington getting 6 at Seattle. Detroit -2 against at LA. The Lions, I ain't never seen the Lions fans they took over a stadium, J-GILLZ. They took over the SoFi Stadium. Man, it was more. Every time you looked at the crowd, all you could see was the Detroit Lions blue. You
coming
saw
out the woodwork.
You saw the sky blue of the Chargers up in there, but man, no, it was some UAW workers in the whole 9 yards, man. They were on strike, man, but they took their strike out to Cali, man. Went out there. Yeah, they just got that strike settled. I think, man, they got some more money in their pocket, and they all took it to Cali, man, and went out to SoFi Stadium and turned it out, man. Right. Man, Chargers put up a great game. I know I'm not a Justin Herbert fan. He played well. Their defense is, man, this terrible. They got a lot of big name guys. Khalil Mack may be past his prime. Bosa has been, oh man, he's just been a name. I know he hasn't played well in 2 years, 2-3. I mean, he hasn't had a big year for the Chargers yet. Derwin James, he's another guy. They keep saying they keep putting him on the Pro Bowl. I don't see Derwin James as a Pro Bowl player. He keeps missing tackles and guys tight ends catching the ball all over him. Great coaching job by Detroit. They messed around there and ended up still winning the game, covering that -2 points. I hope you took that with us. We gave you some good money to win on that game last week, and we're gonna get you some good ones this week coming up. So let's get to some of these games and get some people some money, J-GILLZ. I want to start off Steelers. This spread started off with the Steelers getting 6 points earlier in the week. The announcement of the Cleveland quarterback, being out, and Deshaun Watson had a hell of a game. We watched that game too. We had the Sunday ticket last week, saw all the games. Man, Deshaun looked like Deshaun, but it doesn't seem like they must have made a shot. He might have got shot up because he was throwing that ball. He was looking like the Deshaun Watson of old. He was flinging it, and now they say what, some type of stretch fracture in his shoulder, and they're gonna have to operate on his shoulder. So maybe he knew he didn't want. It was a reason why he didn't want to play. Remember, he didn't play those few weeks, and they were criticizing him.
Right.
And now he comes back. And now he comes back and plays the one game, and then in that second half, he looked like the Deshaun Watson of old. Maybe because he wasn't feeling no pain out there on the field, because he was rolling out, slinging that ball, and he was hitting receivers, and he showed why Deshaun Watson is one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League in that second half against it was a Baltimore Ravens, against the Ravens. And man, what a good game. Sorry to hear that he has season-ending surgery, because he probably woke up the next morning and couldn't even lift his shoulder or something. He must have been in a great deal of pain. So he's out for the season. The Steelers this year is catching everybody at the right time. It's when you play teams. Buffalo catching everybody at the worst time, and here the Steelers catching everybody at the right time. Take the Steelers. Now the Steelers may be favored by 1.5 or 2. Take the Steelers should win this game by a field goal or more. Their defense continues. I don't see how their offense with now they're playing with a poor offense. Hey, it's not the offensive coordinator. We saw Pickett miss a lot of passes in the last 2 weeks. Pickett is just not a quality NFL quarterback at this time. He threw behind receivers. It's not I see why he's sticking with his offense coordinator, because this guy, it's the quarterback. The quarterback is just not getting the job done. The running game is getting a little better. So look for the Steelers to win that outright against Cleveland. The Jets getting 7 or 6. Now it's down to 5. With 7 early in the week, now it's 5.5. Take the Jets and the points. The Bills just can't seem to beat anybody by the spread. They haven't covered the spread in weeks. Take the Jets. I think the Bills will win this one. They may squeak it out with 11 men on the field with a field goal this week to win this game with 11, maybe 10. They might have 10 guys on the field. And I think they'll beat the Jets by a field goal. I think there might be 17-14. It's not a pretty game to watch. It'll be another ugly game to watch, just like the Raiders and the Jets was on Sunday night. The Bills got to figure it out. Joe Brady, jet sweeps, do some reverses, do some jet sweeps, and do some motion. Do some motion at the line of scrimmage. Don't have your quarterback, and put your quarterback under center. Get Josh Allen under center and do some motion so that this guy, give him an opportunity. You're just not giving Josh Allen an opportunity to win. He's just not good enough to win on his own. He needs a lot of help to help him do what he's doing. Even though his stats look good, those turnovers look really bad, man. You can't have turnovers. And hopefully he'll take what the defense gives him and start taking what they give you and give a chance to win the game. Vegas defense, Vegas sky high coming to your Miami Dolphins. J-GILLZ. I think the Raiders have played that one close, but I do think at the end of the day, Miami will pull away. Miami's been beating the lesser teams. Miami been handling their business, so I think Miami will cover that 14 points. They'll probably win by 17. Pull away at the end. A rookie quarterback too. Force that quarterback into some turnovers, make him uncomfortable on the football field. I think that'll be an interesting game. Denver -2.
Fanatic gave us one.
What's that?
Fanatic gave us one. Cardinals +6.
That's what the Fanatic. All right, I just think Fanatic is giving us the Cardinals +6. It's a divisional game. Cardinals getting 6 at Houston. Houston sky high. This is a good time not to bet Houston, because Houston seems to be great when they'll win that big game and then they'll come back and play down to their competition. So the Fanatic says he's taking the Cardinals +6. Okay, Fanatic, we with you on that one. +6, Cardinals +6 in that contest. One other one, Minnesota goes to Denver. Josh Dobbs is showing that he's an NFL quarterback. He was on the bench of some of these teams that need quarterbacks, and Cleveland got rid of him. Before the start, they traded him to Arizona. And now looking, lo and behold, I think you need him. Josh Dobbs would have been nice. A veteran quarterback with some more veteran experience. And now you're going with a rookie in Cleveland. Minnesota goes to Denver. Minnesota's playing good ball. Denver getting some confidence. But I saw a lot of holes in that Denver's defense. You can run the football on them. Minnesota run that football. Yeah, exactly. And I think if Justin Jefferson returns in this game too, I like Minnesota beating Denver outright in that pick 'em, that -2 type game. Take them in there. Dallas, I don't know where Dallas get this college football schedule. Man, the Cowboys, man, every time I look up, they playing a bottom feeder. And now here the Cowboys again. Now they at Carolina with Bryce Young, who doesn't have an offensive line. Take the Cowboys to slaughter them. More than 14 points. The Cowboys look like an unbeatable team this week against another sorry team like they did the Giants the other week. That was embarrassing against the Giants. Oh my God. What was it? 21-0 at half, and then it was 35. I looked, I said, man, what kind of game is this? 42-7? I mean, the Giants are just pitiful. But Cowboys, take the Cowboys to cover the 14 against Carolina tomorrow as well. I like Tennessee getting 7 against Jacksonville. I like the Tennessee Titans. They play Jacksonville tough. Take the 7 points with Tennessee against Jacksonville. Washington and the Giants, interesting game. The Giants have a decent pass rush. I don't think Washington can beat anybody by more than 11. That's an awful lot. That's an awful lot. That's a lot of points. I don't want to mess with that. If you want to mess, people want to mess with that one, mess with it. But I don't think Washington can beat the Giants. And the Giants been embarrassed the last few weeks too. They got to have some pride, right, J-GILLZ? They got to come to. They got to come to work and they put their uniforms on just like the other team across the field from them put their uniforms on too. So I think the Giants got to have a pride game in that one. Green Bay getting 4 points at home against the Chargers. I like Green Bay with the 4 points because the Chargers defense, man, I think they Love may have a 300-yard game. This would be a good one to bet Love for the 300 or more yards because, man, I can't believe how the Chargers defense is just so weak this season. Man, they're brutal. They're brutal. But take Green Bay at home. They're at home. So, they're there. LA got to travel all the way across country, playing in a cold environment at an early time period where it'd be like 11 in the morning for them playing in Green Bay on Sunday. So I like Green Bay +4. Those are my key picks. But the Steelers is my guaranteed lock. The Steelers my guaranteed lock. And my second guaranteed lock is taking the Jets defense with the +7 against the Bills. I think the Bills will win the game, but the Jets will keep it close. Any closing thoughts, J-GILLZ?
Closing thoughts. This is a must-win game for the Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets. The Bills have a gauntlet coming up. If the Bills don't win this one, actually, this is for both of us. We talk about the AFC East. The Jets need this game. If Aaron Rodgers has any hopes of coming back and making the playoffs, the Bills need this game if they have any hopes of making the playoffs. So definitely going to want to lock in and stay tuned to this one. Get your popcorn ready because this is going to be a dogfight.
Exactly. And we're heading out to the game later today. We're going to catch McQuaid versus Bennett over in Buffalo. That should be a very good game. And I want to congratulate East High School winning 42-7 over Clarence High School last night out at Williamsville South. They put it on them last night. That was a hell of a game. If you're going early, the 3:30 game is Monroe High against the Health Sciences schools that our good friend Mookie Hawkins, Mookie from WUFO Radio 1080 over there in Buffalo, New York, 1080 AM. He's one of the coaches on the health science team. They're going to be coaching against the undefeated Monroe team. Monroe is tough to beat. I don't know if Mookie got it, man. Mookie going to have his hands full today against that Monroe explosive offense that Monroe has and that great team that they have this season with Coach Cunningham. And Coach Cunningham is not taking no prisoners, so that should be an interesting game at 3:30. Then at 7 o'clock, you got McQuaid versus Bennett. All at Williamsville South over in Amherst. That's over in the Amherst area just before you get into Buffalo, New York. So you guys have a good one. We're ready to roll out, and we're going to turn it over to Backspin. Backspin get ready to do his thing. And Backspin, we know you're ready to get it in. We're going to hear some good Luther Vandross. And I know you're going to talk about the trip, the cruise on the Rock the Bells cruise line, ship and everything.
We saw you, Backspin.
We saw you, Backspin. Love the photos.
Right? On that boat, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you had a good time. We can't hear you, but we know you had a good time.
We can feel you, brother. We can feel you. So next week, be a good sport, and we'll catch you next week on Real Deal Sports Show. Take care, everybody.
Hey, George, you sure you ain't have it on mute?
I don't think so. I don't see the line across the I don't. Usually, you have the line go. Usually, the line is. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me end this show there.
Oh yeah.